Everyone talks about spiritual awakening, but few realize it unfolds in stages, each one offering its own lessons and clarity about where you are on your path. Maybe you've felt moments of unraveling, or times when everything suddenly makes sense. You're not alone in that. By the end of this video, you'll be able to spot 2 quick signs of each stage and know what to expect as you move forward. Think of these stages as common signposts, not a fixed ladder. Your journey might loop, skip, or take its own unique order. Let's begin by looking more closely at the subtle ways spiritual transformation often starts to show up in everyday life. Stage 1 is called unconscious living, what many people describe as life on autopilot. You move through each day guided by routines, habits, and roles that feel second nature. The alarm rings, you pour your coffee, reply to messages, and go through the motions. But beneath all this, there's often a quiet sense of hollowness or restlessness that lingers, even when everything seems normal on the outside. In this stage, you might notice how strongly you identify with your work title, family role, or the expectations others have for you. Each thought or emotion feels like it completely defines you, and you rarely question where these patterns or reactions come from. Life seems to happen to you, not because of you. You say yes automatically to requests, follow routines without thinking, and make choices based on what's expected rather than what feels right. Emotional reactions, like frustration or defensiveness, flare up quickly, but you move on just as fast, barely noticing the cycle repeating itself. The world becomes a checklist: tasks to finish, problems to solve, roles to fill. 2 clear signs you're in this stage. First, you identify strongly with roles, labels, or routines, letting them shape your sense of self. Second, daily rhythms feel hollow or transactional. There's an emotional restlessness just beneath a successful exterior. Relationships can feel like exchanges rather than true connections, and it's hard to tell where your needs end and someone else's begin. Conversations about intuition or deeper meaning seem distant or irrelevant because the focus is on getting through the day. Even when you meet all the outer markers of success, there's a subtle ache for something more, a feeling that something important is missing, but you can't quite name it. This undercurrent is easy to brush aside as just another part of adulthood, yet it quietly persists. Eventually, something shifts. Maybe it's a moment of discomfort, a nagging question, or simply the realization that you're not fully present in your own life. This is the first gentle pulse of awakening. Stage 2 is often called the awakening, when questions begin to surface, sometimes quietly, sometimes with a jolt. You might catch yourself wondering if the life you're living is truly your own, or you sense a longing for something you can't quite name. Note: some people experience questioning before a breakdown of identity, while others report ego collapse first. Both are normal. This stage can be triggered by a sudden loss, a book that seems to speak directly to your soul, or a fleeting moment of awe that stops you in your tracks. These moments act as gentle invitations, nudging you to look beyond the familiar patterns and routines. As curiosity grows, the world's old script starts to loosen. You may feel drawn to spiritual books, videos, or new practices like meditation and contemplation. It's not just about seeking answers on the surface. It's a sincere longing to understand who you are, why you're here, and what life truly means. 2 clear signs of this stage are a strong pull towards spiritual or philosophical material, and a mix of curiosity and grief as old beliefs start to lose their grip. You might find yourself spending hours reading, journaling, or sitting in silence, not just as a pastime, but as a way to open up space for something new. Emotions can swing between excitement about new possibilities and sadness over what's being left behind. There's a real sense of loss as familiar beliefs and roles begin to fade, and at the same time, a growing eagerness to explore what's next. This emotional back and forth can be disorienting, but it also fuels your search. You may notice that conversations shift. You crave authenticity, find yourself less interested in gossip or surface-level talk, and become drawn to discussions about purpose, intuition, or meaning. Sometimes this shift can make you feel isolated, especially when those around you don't quite understand the changes you're experiencing. Yet, this very sense of being different is a sign that you're moving into new territory. The search isn't only intellectual. It's a deep, heartfelt yearning to reconnect with something real and unconditioned within yourself. Many others are quietly walking this path, and every question you ask is part of a larger, collective awakening. Sometimes that questioning leads to a deeper breakdown of identity. I'd like to take a moment to invite you deeper into this journey. If the ideas here are opening new perspectives for you, consider subscribing and liking the video to help support us, so we can continue exploring together. Thank you for your time. Now, let's move along to the next stage, death of the ego. Ego death, stage 3, is where the foundation of your old identity starts to dissolve, sometimes all at once, sometimes in slow, unraveling waves. The labels and roles you've carried, your job, relationship status, family identity, even your cherished beliefs, suddenly feel hollow, as if they belong to someone else. It's not a physical death, but a dismantling of the story you've always told yourself about who you are. You might notice that the routines and titles that once gave you a sense of place now seem empty, leaving you feeling unanchored. For many, ego death marks a key turning point toward deeper clarity, even though the process itself rarely feels gentle. A powerful sign of this stage is the unavoidable confrontation with grief, existential doubt, or old wounds. This is often called the dark night of the soul. You may find yourself facing regrets or fears you thought you'd left behind, and a raw emptiness can set in. The mind scrambles for something familiar to hold on to, but old comforts ring hollow. Even spiritual ideas or practices you once relied on might feel performative or stripped of meaning. Relationships, too, can shift. Connections that once felt solid may now seem distant or strained, as if you no longer speak the same language. The sense of loss can be profound, and it's common to feel alone or misunderstood as you move through this phase. Yet, in the midst of all the confusion and sorrow, there are moments of surprising peace. Sometimes, a calm clarity appears, even if just for a moment, as though a deeper layer of yourself is quietly making itself known. These glimpses reveal a self that isn't defined by any label or role. A sense of being that feels vast, steady, and unshakable. The answers don't arrive all at once, but you begin to sense that your true nature is something much larger than the stories you've lived by. This realization doesn't erase the pain, but it does offer a new kind of assurance, a quiet confidence that remains even as old identities fall away. As you settle into this new awareness, the question naturally arises: how do you return to daily life and relate to the world when so much has changed inside? The next stage is about finding your footing again, not by returning to old patterns, but by learning to move through life with a new sense of authenticity and presence. Stage 4 is integration, bridging the sacred with the everyday in a way that feels both ordinary and profound. This stage often follows the emergence of your authentic self. Pretenses fall away, and external life begins to reorganize to reflect inner truth. You might notice a growing intolerance for inauthentic work or relationships, as well as the resurfacing of old emotional wounds. For some, this period brings vivid dreams or heightened intuition, subtle energetic shifts that signal deeper alignment. You find yourself standing in familiar routines, but now there's a quiet awareness running through each moment. Integration isn't about abandoning daily life or striving for perfection. It's about letting the insights from your awakening shape how you show up in conversations, at work, or even in the way you care for your space. The mundane becomes a place to practice presence. Old triggers might still appear, but you catch them more quickly, responding with curiosity instead of criticism. Priorities begin to shift in gentle but unmistakable ways. You gravitate toward activities and people that nurture your spirit, while habits that once dulled your awareness start to fall away. Boundaries become clearer, not as walls, but as acts of self-respect rooted in compassion. Saying no feels less like rejection and more like making space for what truly matters. When old patterns resurface, you notice them without harsh judgment, practicing patience with yourself as you learn to move forward differently. Self-compassion becomes a guiding force. You start to treat yourself with the care and understanding you may have always longed for, becoming your own nurturer and source of encouragement. This kindness naturally extends outward, shaping your relationships with greater empathy and patience. You may find yourself drawn to help others, not from obligation, but as a natural expression of the compassion you're cultivating within. Integration isn't a finish line. It's an ongoing process, a rhythm of balancing new awareness with the realities of daily living. As your inner and outer worlds begin to echo each other, a quiet sense of meaning grows in unexpected places. This grounded coherence opens the way for an even deeper sense of presence, where being authentic becomes less of an effort and more of a natural state. Stage 5 is embodiment, living as higher consciousness, where spiritual insight becomes a lived reality woven through your daily life. At this stage, you'll often experience a felt interconnectedness with nature and others rather than just an intellectual idea. The boundaries between yourself and the world soften. You notice the way a breeze, a bird's call, or the presence of another person all feel deeply connected to your sense of being. There's a quiet, steady presence guiding you, not as something you chase, but as a natural part of who you are. You move through each day with a sense of ease, no longer searching for answers or comparing your progress to anyone else's. Ordinary moments, making tea, listening to laughter, feeding your pet, become deeply satisfying in themselves. This is one of the clearest signs of embodiment. Presence in simple moments brings a fullness that doesn't depend on circumstances. Another sign is that compassion and patience arise naturally. Not because you're trying to force them, but because your perspective has shifted. You respond to challenges with gentle curiosity, and when pain or conflict appears, you meet it with understanding rather than resistance. In relationships, you begin to listen with genuine openness, noticing the shared humanness beneath every conversation. Seeing others becomes an act of recognition, as if you're meeting aspects of yourself in each encounter. There's no need to perform wisdom or hide your vulnerabilities. Showing up as you are feels enough. Gratitude moves quietly through your routines, turning even mundane tasks into moments of presence. When darker emotions or old wounds surface, you acknowledge them with the same care you offer to your joys, understanding that both light and shadow belong. Creativity and service flow more freely, not as obligations, but as natural expressions of alignment. Your fulfillment comes from living truthfully, rather than seeking approval or recognition. You might notice that your presence calms others, not because you set out to lead, but simply by holding space and modeling groundedness. Embodiment isn't a final destination or a state of perfection. It's an ongoing practice. Setbacks and challenges still arise, but you meet them as part of the tapestry, not as failures. Each day offers a new opportunity to bring your awareness into action, deepening your connection with yourself, others, and the world around you. This way of living carries its own quiet rhythm, shaping how you move through both the gentle and intense moments of transformation. As you reflect on these stages, notice how each one brings its own lesson and invitation. Where do you see yourself right now? Share in the comments which stage resonates most in your own journey. Before we wrap up, check the description below for a special gift we have for you. If this video was helpful, like and subscribe to find more gentle guidance for the path ahead. Until next time, beautiful souls, namaste.